And welcome to another edition of WrestleTalkShow. I am your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here again with CWE's own John Swegler.
Yo, yo, yo!
And joining us on the phone today, Wrestling Insider James Kincade. How we doing, Jimmy?
Doing good.
So what's on your mind today, man? TNA just announced several things. Eric Bischoff, by the way, announced that he's read the research, and I would just want your opinion on this. He's read the research, and according to his research, the fans want a tournament. That's why you have this RVD dilemma.
But that doesn't make any sense. I mean, he's supposed to, if I'm right, he's supposed to be back by Bound for Glory, correct?
Correct. So it's more or less they've already given away that they set this up.
Right. So basically, now they're going to listen to the fans, but yet they're still doing most of the bullshit that they're doing. I mean, TNA is such a joke like that, I guess. But I never understood why they're doing this tournament to begin with. They should never have vacated it.
Well,
Well,
that's why. According to Eric Bischoff, in a statement made earlier this week, his research, and I'd love to know who he's surveying, what TNA fans he's getting responses from, because every TNA fan I come across or listen to or read posts from, they're tired of it.
Yeah, well, my question is not so just who's he researching, but how much is he paying them?
Well, that too. That'll be another thing to take into consideration. But another thing that comes to light, and we'll actually make these two topics come full circle within the 15-minute window. What do you think of TNA? And it's confirmed. I've confirmed it through research and through sources. TNA does the same thing WWE does, but they have no wellness policy. None.
Yeah, that's a joke, because it just goes to show you that TNA makes that you would think that they would actually...
Dixie Carter went on the record to state that she does her own drug testing, but does not go on to emphasize, does not offer details, just that she does her own testing, and it's believed that in UFC and TNA alike, painkillers couldn't be more on the rise.
That's hilarious. That would explain why guys like, no offense, but Jeff Hardy and RVD are still on the roster despite the fact, well, with Jeff Hardy, despite his drug trial, that has it even happened yet, or did it get pushed back for 1,500 times?
From what I understood, if my memory serves me correctly, a new date got pushed 3 weeks ago, maybe more, and I want to say the date September 9th sounds awfully like it's supposed to mean something, so I want to say September 9th.
So then it already happened.
So then, basically, basically it already happened, and you gotta wonder if Dixie Carter's money didn't get him out of that. Or, I'm sorry, her father's money. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, good idea. And with RVD, it makes you wonder how...
But here's the fucked up thing, and I think this is where you'll have more to talk about, and these are the three topics, what I just mentioned, what we're going to circle around, and let's try not to deviate. Eric Bischoff goes on to say that, I guess if you went according to his age, he's talking about, he blogged the other night, and that's what got him in trouble, and that's how I know all this. He blogged that they're pushing the younger talent. He must think that in comparison to him, age-wise, Jeff Hardy is young. I mean...
he might be a little younger than Eric, but he isn't that young anymore.
Well, what was it quoted? Eric's in his 50s, Hogan's in his 50s, Flair's pushing 60. I mean, what are they trying to do? And that's pretty sad if a 50-some-year-old man thinks the 30-some-year-old guy, who's, by the way, pending drug charges, if they haven't been worked out already, fucking that's the younger talent. When you have to stare somebody like AJ Styles in the face every day, or cut him a check once a week and shake his hand. That's who you're calling younger talent.
Not like Kurt Angle.
Well, Kurt Angle's pushing 40, so.
Right.
Samoa
right.
Joe.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, Samoa Joe. And that's what's fucked up. They had a great run with AJ Styles. He was in play. Then they just stopped.
Yeah, exactly. And then they give him this shitty, he needs to jerk Ric Flair off every 2 minutes. And why? He's multi-time, what is it, Triple Crown or whatever?
He's made his own mark for the generation, and I don't think TNA understands that just to be an up-and-comer, it doesn't have to look exactly like the wrestler you had before him.
What's that big Flair in them? The starts with an F.
Huh?
His little group.
Oh, isn't it Fortune?
It's Fortune or something.
Yeah, it's Fortune.
I couldn't remember what you call them groups.
AKA Evolution.
AKA the Wolfpack.
AKA Four Horsemen. I mean, use whatever wrestling adjective you want.
Yeah. I never understood why, like, every time I hear about a storyline about an agent anymore, it's always about him becoming somebody else's man bitch. It's like, what the fuck?
Alright, but in regards to the talent, what do you think a status quo statement should be acceptable from Dixie Carter, considering all the heat we've seen, and somehow it's more or less saying WWE has to prove everything to the public, but TNA, because we're not in the running technically with the bigger guy, doesn't have to. What do you take from that?
Bullshit. Simple bullshit. She should be accountable for everything that WWE is accountable for. Due to the fact that John Rule, please, they're in the same fucking industry. I'm tired of this shit where WWE is the bad guy because WWE is the bigger guy. You know,
but aren't they all bad guys? I mean, if you're gonna play, what I said in the last post about WWE's wellness policy towards TNA is that if you're gonna be in the game, play it.
That's what I'm saying.
Disclose your wellness policy or set one up, and especially when you got guys like bitches, and I hate to refer it like this, but on again, off again, Scott Hall.
Yeah.
I got a movie for you to see.
Grandpa Nash.
Grandpa Nash.
I got a movie. You gotta see the movie.
You got Grandpa Nash, and you're not going to tell me that these older veteran guys who are more, some would argue, more starstruck than others, aren't going to start complaining when they start realizing that, hey, I'm maxed out of wrestling, but hey, by the way, this company is the reason I can't move. I mean, it's a stretch, but what's going to happen when these bigger guys like Sting and Nash finally come to terms with the fact that, yes, they retire, but oh yeah, before they retire, wrestling's responsible for their injuries. You don't think that's going to happen? Come on.
I know, it is. And you know what's funny though? Bruce mentioned now, that with Nash, supposedly he isn't doing any politicking. He might be on his way out, but it's because of politics for other people. I wonder.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, you're talking in regards to Nash, right?
Yeah.
The problem with Nash is Nash still is in the belief himself. It'd be one thing if he was younger and management just wasn't pushing him, but Nash himself believes he's still a main eventer when the generation isn't there anymore. The generation that was following Kevin Nash is gone. There are fathers and soon to be fathers like They're the Attitude Era, and it phased itself out.
Yeah, and nobody outside of maybe the people who are watching our vid understand this. I mean, I'm sure there are a few people out there that get the fact that no more Attitude Era, but the majority of the people think that that's the only way wrestling can exist.
Well, no, we'll get into your thing. I was just saying that Kevin Nash himself still thinks he's a main eventer, and he's right there with Ric Flair.
Yeah, that's just a little much.
So just to sum it up, you think they should have to institute a wellness policy, right?
Right.
And what should it emphasize on?
It should emphasize on that pretty much we're trying to fix the business. You know, they're trying to deal with the he's doing. They're trying to help these people. You know, like
And you think?
that,
We got 4 more minutes. You think that? All right, let me just shoot this out for like a 30-second response. But so you believe that the wrestling industry should insure the workers, like we've been talking about for weeks, months, years?
yeah.
You believe that, right?
Yeah, not only that, but also as far as the drug policy goes, they should be accountable for their wrestlers being on the same shit that he's accountable for.
Well,
They're no better.
Let me take this just for shock value. Chris Benoit, it was documented, was tested 3 times and allowed to slide on 3 failed drug tests, where in their policy they state that after 3 they get rid of your ass. So isn't that a clear, oh, you're our superstar, so we'll let it slide?
Yeah. Now, mind you, we don't know if that's still...
Dude, when they tested his blood, it was 59-1 over the legal limit of testosterone. 4-1 gets you kicked out of the Olympics. 59-1 means his body was mostly synthetic testosterone, steroids.
Well, yeah, that's that.
And
Should have probably been
with the news coming out that you can fail 3 drug tests, one has to argue, did they let it slide? Well, obviously they did.
Right.
But was it, you're a superstar, so we're going to let this go, even though you might run off and kill your family one day?
Irony.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you make of that in the last 2 minutes?
That, I think, was terrible. Now, mind you, like I said, we don't know if things have changed since then. I mean, I'm sure you can find out.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, here's the only bad thing, and real quick, the only thing the wellness policy, and this is as of Wikipedia, and fans and everyone can update that as information comes in. The only thing so far the wellness policy is determined since its institution in 2006 is that in August of 2007, they found some kind of disorder in MVP, and they're saying it was found during his routine checkup. That's the only thing that they credit to the wellness policy. Everything else is Eddie Guerrero overdoses. Chris Benoit murders his family. Like, this does not look good.
I know, and I will say that was a good thing that did come out.
Umaga overdoses on Soma and hydrocodone.
No offense, but that's probably why we can't get off the ground.
Huh?
No offense, but that's probably why we can't get off the ground, because of WWE.
Well, no, and you also have a lot of promoters that promise things and then the wrestlers show up, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah, that's a different discussion for another day. In my opinion, though, Umaga...
Just, hold on, wrap it up, like, what do you want out of the drug policy, and what do you make of Eric Bischoff's statements? Last 30 seconds.
Well, first with Eric Bischoff, that's a joke. The wellness policy, I think, needs to be stepped up overall. Umaga, that was his fault. Simple as that. They told him to get clean, he refused. It's stupidity for overdosing.
20
No
seconds.
offense, but that's just my feeling on it.
20 seconds.
Let's see. Yeah, I just think every anybody should have a drug
10
policy.
seconds.
So, in summary, wrestling should get a fucking clue. Your wrestlers are dying, if not dying